Hey, what's up, friends? My name is Jacob, and I'm the worship director here at Cornerstone, and I'm joined by Davis, who is the worship leader at Salt Company. As we've been thinking through what this next season of ministry looks like for our worship and production teams, there have been three words that have been coming to mind for us: fire, freedom, formation.
Yeah, we have a lot of volunteers on a lot of different teams, from Salt Company to Sunday mornings to worship and production, and so we just want to give a clear picture of what we're all running towards, so that whatever you're doing individually, you can do it effectively for the mission of our church and our gatherings. And so, three words: fire, freedom, and formation. And we're just going to spend a little bit of time unpacking these from the Bible, what they mean, and how you can follow these values well.
Yeah, so let's unpack these one at a time. Let's start with the word fire. Throughout the Bible, the word fire is used to describe the power and presence of God on earth. So think of Moses and the burning bush, or the pillar of fire guiding the Israelites through the desert, or the tongues of fire on the day of Pentecost. Fire is one of the physical, earthly manifestations we see for the Spirit of God.
Yeah, and there's an image of this fire that we have from a sermon a few years back at Cornerstone from 1 Kings 18. And the story in this chapter is we have the prophet Elijah of the one true God, kind of in a face-off with the prophets of Baal. And the deal is like, okay, they're both going to build an altar with a sacrifice, and then they're going to call out to their God. And obviously only the true God would be able to bring down fire from heaven to consume the sacrifice and the altar. So the prophets of Baal go first. There are a lot of them, and they have this altar and their sacrifice, and they call out to Baal. Nothing happens. So they kind of double down. They start dancing. They're shouting out to Baal all day long. And they even start getting violent among themselves, just pleading to their God to show up, and nothing happens. And so they give up. Elijah then steps up. He has his altar, his sacrifice. He even dumps water all over the sacrifice and the altar that he wants God to light on fire. And then he just prays. And he says, "Answer me, God, bring down fire so that everybody here would know you are the only God." And God does it. He brings down fire, consumes the altar, and all the people around fall down, and they acknowledge that he is God. And so this is a helpful image we want for our gatherings. We want the fire. We want the presence of God to show up. That's what's going to change hearts. That's what's going to form disciples. But what we see in this picture, or in this chapter, is there's no amount of human work. The dancing, the shouting, none of that brings down the fire from heaven. Only God does that. And so whatever we're doing on Sunday morning, we want to do it with the realization that it's not going to change hearts. God needs to do that.
Yeah, and if we could summarize Elijah's prayer in one sentence, it would be, God, we've built an altar, but you have to send the fire. And so one of the ways that we really think we can run hard after this as a people in this next season of ministry is through our pre-service prayer times. And we don't want to view this as an obligatory thing that we just do because we're Christians and we have to do that before we do a worship service because it's the right thing to do. No, we want to passionately pursue the Lord and beg that he would move powerfully in our midst, because far be it from us that we would just entertain people. No, we want people to come and meet with the living God, the power and presence of God on earth. So that's our prayer. God, we've built an altar, but you have to send the fire.